Welcome back into The Retirement Chef, whipping up wealth with Brian Butler. He's the CEO and Senior Wealth Advisor with Wealth Standard Financial right here in Houston. And obviously, we have covered a whole lot on the program today, including providing that guaranteed stream of income. If you'd like to learn more about annuities and how they could fit into your retirement plan, or maybe you just like to learn more about having that income strategy, or folks, maybe you're retired, you've been holding on to that money, you're a little scared to spend it, you'd like to learn about how to flip that mindset a little bit. It's not something you want to try to do on your own. You want to consult someone like Brian Butler and his team at Wealth Standard Financial, and all you need to do now is pick up the phone. Get on his calendar at 832-957-9008. That's 832-957-9008, or online at wealthstandardfinancial.com. Well, Brian, I know you and I are big sports guys, and we can't do a show without talking a little bit of sports here. I know we're right in the middle of baseball season. Obviously, all eyes here in town are on the Astros, but Shaquille O'Neal, a guy who certainly made one of the best careers in NBA history, well, we've had him on the show in episodes in the past, but how do we decide when and where to invest our money? Well, I want to play a clip from Shaq, who told the Wall Street Journal that for him, he likes to invest only in things that he really, truly understands.
After my first championship, Wheaties. My people say, hey man, why don't you be on the cover of Wheaties? I said, I can't do that. They said, what do you mean, brother? Breakfast champions? I said, don't know what it tastes like. Never going to taste it. Frosted Flakes will always be my first option if you want to talk cereal business with me. Then Fruit Loops, then Fruity Pebbles. Period. There ain't nothing to talk about.
The man knows what he likes. He likes his cereal, it sounds like, Brian, right?
Well, I do too. And I think he's on to something. When you really understand what you're invested in, it helps your overall commitment to the investment. Now, there's a double-edged sword to that. And so you'll see how people's investments are skewed based upon where they are and what they're familiar with. And so if you look at a map and you go to the East Coast, most of those people are heavily invested in financials. If you go Midwest, heavily invested manufacturing and agriculture. You go down to Texas, where we are, of course, oil and gas.
Right.
But then you go West Coast, it's more technology, tech firms and all of that. And so there's a heavy skew to what they're comfortable with. They have the majority of their portfolios in it. Now, who's right? None of them are right.
Right.
It just depends on what the market is doing, but it's what they're comfortable with and they understand it. So they're able to take more risk and put more money into it. And so if you are a tech guru at NVIDIA, for example, and you don't understand mineral rights and the price of oil and how it's going to affect everything in the market, you might not invest as much in oil and gas as you would in technology. Technology you understand. And so we see that all the time when people work for companies for a long time. They'll have a lot of the company stock, usually too much of the company stock because it's all concentrated. They got a great deal on it, but then trying to get them to diversify away from it is always a challenge because they're really comfortable with it. And so we had some people that worked for Exxon and Chevron for 30 and 40 years, and 80% of their money is tied into that stock. When we start to get to retirement, that's great if you pick the right time to ride that wave up. But in retirement, we have to produce income. And so who knows what that company is going to be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, or what the environment's going to be. So we have to try to diversify a way to guarantee some of the income. But understanding what you're in and why you're in it is one of the challenges that we have with people because we believe in education. And so the problem, which is a great problem to have that I have sometimes, are people are like, oh, Brian, I trust you. Go ahead and do it. And I tell them, no. I need you to understand why you're in this and at least at a high level know what it is. So then that way you're not blindsided if something doesn't go the way you expect it to. And we raise those expectations and give people insights into, okay, what's an annuity? What's a stock? What's a bond? What's a mutual fund? What's an ETF? Really giving them some direction into that and why these things are in their portfolios. All of a sudden, they understand it. And so until you understand it, we probably won't invest in that. And so we want to give you some education, not saying that you have to be overly educated in this and be an expert, but I just want you to understand what it is. Now, I appreciate the trust, definitely appreciate the trust, but I want you to understand so that you can move forward. And if somebody asked you in your family or friend how you're invested or what you have, you'll know what it is and you'll know why you're in it.
Right.
And if you do those two things, all of a sudden, that clarity gives you certainty in your mind as far as I know exactly what I'm getting, what I have. So you're certain of those things. Now, the outcome is uncertain, but we give you a probability of what could potentially be good for you in your retirement.
Let me ask you this, too. You mentioned some folks that may say, hey, Brian, here it is. You take care of this. How often when you sit down with somebody and you start going over what they have currently, do you find that they frankly don't understand what they have because maybe they went to someone else, maybe someone did it for them, and they just say, well, I put my trust, I put my faith in this person. I don't really know what I have, though.
Really spending some time to show people what's good in their portfolio, because many times we don't have to do a complete overhaul of your portfolio.
Right.
There'll be some tweaks. So the magic is in the mix and the adjustments that we make. And so we go through it and ask them, okay, do you know why you have this? And if they don't know and it's not necessary, well, then we may make a change. But if they don't know and it seems like a really good idea, we'll educate them on what that idea is. And then from there, make other adjustments and changes, because tweaks are huge in retirement. You don't usually need to overhaul everything you're doing. Some cases you do, if you never had a plan and you didn't plan for it properly. But if we can go in and add some adjustments that can potentially give you an increased return, protect you from some taxes, protect your beneficiaries, protect your income. If we can do all of those things with the adjustments we make, that's where we earn our money with clients and earn some trust. And so it's a huge part of retirement planning as we start to build trust with clients because they don't know us. Like things like the radio show, our YouTube channels, things like that get people familiar with it. But consistent performance over time is what builds trust on our financial services industry. And so that's what we know. We want to give you the one-page plan, walk you through our framework, Wealth Flow 360, show you where your accounts are, how they're invested, continue to meet with you. And over time, that's what builds trust. And then we get to know you, you get to know us. Introduce us to your family, and it just continues the cycle of opportunity and growth for you, for us, and it's the fun part of what we do.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, if you'd like to learn more, maybe you have a plan in place and you're not really sure what's included in it. You like a second opinion, or maybe you're just starting the process. You're inching towards your retirement, not something you want to try to handle on your own. That's why Brian Butler and his team at Wealth Standard Financial, they are here to help. Pick up the phone, give them a call today, 832-957-9008. That's 832-957-9008, or online anytime. It's wealthstandardfinancial.com. That's wealthstandardfinancial.com. Well, Brian, we sort of touched on this earlier in the show. I figured it's a good way to sort of wrap things up here for this weekend's program. We talk about Roth conversions a lot on this show, and we talk a lot about how they're appropriate and really wheelhouse for folks who are not in retirement. But how about, Brian, folks who are already retired? What should those folks be thinking about? Should they still consider Roth conversions, or do you sort of look at it as there's a cutoff age to make those types of moves?
No, Roth conversions at any age can potentially be something that you can execute on. Now, when you're looking at a Roth conversion, you need to look at your overall income, look at your provisional income, because anything you convert is going to be counted as income. So it's going to increase your income. And so if we can figure out ways to not have your Social Security taxed even more, fill in some of the income tax brackets to keep you in the 22% from jumping to the 25%, come up with a financial calculation that shows, okay, how much you can convert over a certain period of time, even if you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, because what it's doing is it helps with estate planning and it helps with your future tax burden. So historically, right now, we're at historically low tax rates, even though it might not feel like it. When you look at a chart, we're historically low. And in my opinion, they have to go up. So the earlier you start converting these at a low tax rate, then all of a sudden the Roth money later on is not taxable. It's not taxable to you. And then it's also not taxable to your beneficiaries, which is a huge thing. Who knew a traditional IRA could potentially be a problem for you in retirement? And so planning that out is an estate planning feature. Planning your taxes out. No one wants to pay taxes. Right. And so that's why they kick the can down the road. But when you're looking at taxes, the earlier you pay them, the more likely that you're gonna have a smaller tax bill overall. So you want to protect your estate, protect your beneficiaries, and protect yourself from a huge tax burden later on, because our tax base is shrinking. And because our tax base is shrinking and there are fewer people with money, guess what? The people with money are going to pay higher taxes at some point,
right?
Unless our government magically figures out a way to work together, which good luck.
Right.
I mean, I'm not gonna bet my retirement on that.
Right.
And so control the things that you can control. You can control your tax strategy in retirement, which includes Roth conversions. And there are many strategies that people haven't necessarily heard of. I know we touched on it earlier about the internal Roth conversions to manage some of that tax bill and protect beneficiaries. There are tons of ways to do it and lower your requirement minimum distributions, which also raises your taxable income and then could potentially cause your Social Security to be taxed. All of these things can be calculated ahead of time, so you know or have a great idea of what the tax bill could be, but it takes time, effort, and partnership. And so that's where it comes in, working with a team like ours. This is what we do all day. We love retirees. We love helping with the retirement conversation. It's one of the best parts of our job.
If you'd like to learn more, maybe you're in retirement and you'd like to get more details about doing those Roth conversions, or maybe you're approaching your retirement and you'd just like to figure out how to get that process started, pick up the phone. Give Brian Butler and his team a call at Wealth Standard Financial today. 832-957-9008 is the number. That's 832-957-9008, or online anytime. It's wealthstandardfinancial.com. All right, Brian, got about a minute left in the program. And my friend, I'm going to leave the floor all yours for the final word.
I appreciate everyone listening out, and I just want you to have a great call to action. So the call to action is, if you don't already have a strategic tax plan for your retirement income is not guaranteed in a way that you want, or you just want a second opinion on your investment portfolio, whatever it is, take advantage of the free strategy session that we will give you. It's a no pressure strategy session where we talk about everything that you're trying to accomplish. And then we can give you some ideas, some things that you may be able to adjust in your portfolio. And then from there, you'll know which way you want to go. Whether you just, okay, I'm going to take that and do it myself. I want to partner with you. Whatever it is, we are doing these to help as many retirees as we can, because we know it's a stressful time. And so if we can take some of that stress away, that's what we want to do. And so, again, this is Brian Butler. I really appreciate everyone listening, and I'll see you next week.
The opinions voiced in The Retirement Chef, Whipping Up Wealth with Brian Butler, are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. No strategy assures success or protects against loss. To determine what may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial, or tax advisor prior to investing. Guests on The Retirement Chef, Whipping Up Wealth are not affiliated with CWM LLC. Investment advisory services offered through CWM LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.